Hi, and welcome to the Crit Hit Wild podcast, where we cover all things Marvel Crisis Protocol, and we cover a new character every week. This week, we are doing the Black Widow, and I'm your host, Fred.
I'm Brad.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Steven.
Hey guys, how is everybody doing this week? How are you doing today, Brandon?
Doing pretty good.
Well, that's good to hear.
Much better than yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. I'll if you want to tell, go ahead. But if not, we'll just move right on.
No, I was just kind of sick yesterday.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Thankfully, it was only like a 24-hour bug, so much better.
I had one of those twice this week.
Yeah, I don't like. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, like what's going on?" I was like, "Listen, like it came too quick. Like, it was like 2 a.m. Friday night. It hit me, and then I woke up today, and it was literally fine."
Huh. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. You sound better than. Well, how are you
Yeah, now
doing,
it's just
Brad?
gunk.
I'm doing great, except for being sick twice this week.
Wait, is something going around?
Yes. You don't interact
Okay.
with people, so you probably don't need to worry about it.
I interact with you.
Yeah.
That is true. So now I can blame this on Brad.
You have a public-facing job too, Brandon.
Yeah, but I hung out with you on Thursday and I got sick Friday.
Oh,
Okay, but I wasn't sick Thursday. I was
Yeah, but
I was also sick Friday.
Yeah, which means I got it from you.
Okay,
If you were sick,
you might have got it from me.
friends sharing again.
that's fine.
Did Jared or
Well,
Borka get sick?
I don't.
I
They
don't know
didn't
the
mention
answer.
it. They didn't mention that they were.
I'll have to follow up with them. How are you doing today, Steven?
I'm fine. The heat has finally dissipated in Idaho. Actually, it dissipated kind of last week. So, but
The
still
one
out
of
here
us on the
working.
the one of us on the other side of the country Brad can't get sick.
That's true. That is true.
I didn't get Fred sick either.
Yet.
I was in Pittsburgh. That's my excuse. I just got back.
All right.
All right. Well, let's move on to our podcast. Today we're going to be doing the Black Widow, but before we get to that, is there any news that has come out from Atomic Mass Games that we need to discuss? I think that the only thing that came out is we now know the schedule for oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the name? I just said it.
Mini Stravaganza.
Mini Stravagant. Thank you, Brad. We now know the schedule for Mini Stravaganza. If you want to know the specifics of the schedule, go ahead and look it up. I don't have them in front of me at the moment, so but they are readily available. I believe that's the only news that we have, though.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll
Well,
have stuff in like 2 weeks when
Yeah.
when we actually have Mini Stravaganza.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, have any of you played any games recently that you want to talk about?
I didn't play MCP, but I played a different game.
What'd you play?
I played a Song of Ice and Fire miniatures game.
Okay. What was? Tell me about that. What was that game like? I'm interested in the game. It looks pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. It was a lot of fun. Jared kept saying we played a 3-player free for all. Me, Jared, and Borka. It was supposed to be a team game, but somebody kept telling us he was about to leave and then never left. So
I left before the game ended.
barely. So I played Starks, Borka played Lannisters, and Jared played Night's Watch. And it was fun. It's rank and
It-
file, and you push little trays of people around.
Okay.
Jared,
Did you all play at the same time?
yeah, we played a free for all.
Oh. So this is a game that you can play more than just 2 people?
Yeah,
Interesting.
you can play team or free for all, and they have rules for it.
Okay.
So it's not like we just made that up. It's fun.
That would have been crazy the first time you ever play a game to make up how you want to play the game.
Yeah. Well, I've definitely played multiplayer demos that for games that aren't multiplayer, but that's fine.
Oh yeah. I mean, sometimes you got to make allowances when you're just
Yeah.
starting.
Jared kept mentioning that it felt like playing War Machine again, like in a
Yeah.
good way. Yeah.
He has only mentioned that 30 times in our group chat as well.
Yeah.
I actually believe he said it this morning.
Yeah.
Well, when you said movement trays, it sounds like it might take a page out of historical wargaming, because we used to have movement trays for Napoleonics when I was playing that.
Yeah. It's the rules, the base rules, like how you attack and how you defend, is similar to Warhammer Fantasy / AOS, but more like fantasy because you're on trays.
Mm-hmm.
So
You also
it
do
is
not
that.
have to build the models.
They are pre-built. And Fred, I know you like the Starks,
I do.
and I have some Starks that I could let go for real cheap, and I am currently painting them, so you would have fully painted models.
Oh my. I may
He's-
take you up on that.
He's baiting you.
Yeah, I know. I'm being baited into a new game again.
At least this game is cheap and you don't have to do or buy anything else for.
No,
Yeah.
you will have enough to play fully painted.
Okay. Well, did you say who won? Who won the game?
Oh, the first game I technically won. We didn't play with any objectives, and but you get a point for every kill you do. And we took out Jared. We did 3 little fights. Me and Jared had a couple units fighting, and then Borka and Jared, and then me and Borka. And at the very last attack, I think I was attacking Borka, but it ended up both our units died at the exact same time. But I had killed more things throughout the game than him, so I technically won.
Okay, so this was an absolutely Pyrrhic victory.
Yeah.
You lost literally everything on the table, but you technically won.
Yeah. And then the second game, they ganged up on me and took me out first, and I just had to sit and watch them play.
Well,
that's the threat with a 3-way game, is that
Yeah.
the engagement won't ever be literally exactly, against both opponents.
Jared won the second game.
Okay.
Jared, who bought into the best army in the game.
He did. He did immediately buy the highest ranked tournament.
Which army is that?
The Night's Watch.
Night's Watch.
Oh boy. Okay.
To be fair, I don't know if he knew that going in.
But
It's,
of course he picked it.
Of
Yeah.
course
You
he knew
start-
that.
you start on top of a wall made of ice. It's a huge advantage.
No. His cav, his horse dudes, they were real bad. But the rest of his stuff was pretty good.
Okay. Well, it sounds interesting.
It's fun, Fred. You would like it.
I probably would. Okay. I'll take it into consideration.
Okay, that's all we ask.
Just
Did
do what I
anyone
do.
else-
If you get one game, you just have to quit a different game.
I'm already I own an army for not an army, but I own a playable amount of models for Star Wars Shatterpoint, and I have not played that game since Brad first showed me.
We do need
So
to play more Shatterpoint.
Yeah.
I cannot stress that enough. Oh, and
Being an adult.
Fred, if you buy my Starks, I can get something I like better, like Greyjoys.
Oh boy. Okay.
I need to send you money, actually.
Yes, you do. Okay, we can move on now.
Okay.
AOS
All right.
is, not AOS. A Song of Fire and Ice aside, done.
Okay. Well, I don't think that anyone has played any games of MCP recently. It's just been a week of doing other stuff. I
I played
was in
40K.
Pittsburgh, and Steven is in Idaho. So we're all far flung from our normal haunts.
I played 40K.
Yeah.
Oh, you did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it? Did you have fun?
Yeah, I really like this edition.
A lot of people are playing 40K now. It seems to be the edition is very strong.
They simplified a lot. They simplified almost everything. So like it's really easy. It's much more simplistic and like there's not as much complications and everything's pretty straightforward.
Well, they took their new unit concept directly. I mean, stolen. I mean, just copied from MCP, right? Or the units and the characters.
Kinda. So I mean, they definitely took stuff from the other like successful miniatures games and they definitely made it a lot more simplified. Like you don't have to they also made a new list builder, which is really convenient. I'm trying to think of like the point value is no longer determined. Like you have an overall point value for your model that does not matter what weapons you took. Like in the old editions, if you took specific weapons, it would increase your point value. Now you have an overall point. Like if a model's 100 points, it's 100 points no matter what weapons you take with it.
Okay. I mean the whole point value system is super complicated.
Well,
Actually I
Not
don't know. It used to
anymore,
be.
Fred. Not
It's
Not
anymore.
anymore?
it's not anymore. Yeah. So
Yeah.
now it's just every model is a base point value, and you just build up to whatever point value you're playing at. If it's 500, 1,000, or 2,000. They got rid of the power, which was also really complicated. It was just like they just got rid of all the stuff that made it overly complicated. Like it was a game from 1993. So it's a lot funner now. They have a lot of new models. They've got some giant bugs coming out, which are really cool. So
I was about to ask which faction you were playing, but I think you just told us. Is it the
I
Tyranids?
I play Tyranids and Imperial Knights.
Okay.
So most everyone right now is only playing 1,000 point games, which I can't play Imperial Knights at successfully. So I played Tyranids at 1,000 point games. Because Knights are about 500 points a night. So when you get to 1,000, you can only have like one big knight and two little knights, which is just not. It's not good.
Oh wow.
Versus, yeah. So because in a 2,000 points, you can play like two big knights and like six little knights, which is very doable. And then Tyranids. So the way I'm playing Tyranids is I can play a bunch of big bugs, and then you get to play all the little, and then the little ones cost next to nothing. Like I think, hold on, I think I can bring like 20 guys for like 30 points.
Whoa, what? Really?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess it's the
They
Tyranids.
suck. They're bad.
yeah, they're literally just there to die.
Yeah, I guess that is what they
It's
do.
so it's like 20 of them for. So these guys are 60 points per 10. So they're not good, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you can take a ton of them for like very little points.
They almost got me to come back in.
Oh, they almost
They
got
almost
you,
got you?
Steven?
What?
They almost got you? That's crazy.
Dude, I've been playing 40K since chapter approved. and I haven't played since 7th edition.
This edition's really, really good so far.
But they're
but
taking away. They're taking away my firstborn Blood Angel Marine, so I'm out.
When you say taking away, do you mean like they're just not playable anymore?
No, they're phasing them out.
Man, that's so frustrating.
yeah,
So-
there's a lot of changes. But they're like, so a lot of the stuff they're phasing out, they're just making new models for.
It's
Right,
Games
but
Workshop.
So
It's
that's,
they're
I know. That's
I
I'm
don't
not. That's not a
fancy.
positive.
Yeah,
But
I
that
don't.
is. But there's also, if you might just be able to, if they change the base size, you could probably just rebase them and then use them. I know that's what a lot of people do. Like I've seen people play with like the old metal models still. They just rebase them. That's the one thing I do like about 40K is they're not super like strict on like that kind of stuff.
Wow.
mm,
They are in
Like that.
their own stores, like the GW
yeah.
Yeah,
stores are. But other than that, they're pretty
yeah.
lax.
I'll never go to one of those and actually play events, so it's fine. Yeah, because if you go to like if it's a GW ran event, like you have if your model if you're using X weapon, your model has to have X weapon on it.
Yeah. God. I mean, if we're playing a game of Marvel Crisis Protocol, you have to have the model when you're playing that model on
Mhm.
in an official tournament, but that's different because
Yeah.
if you've bought the model, you have it. It's
Yeah,
not
there's not
like
different like weapons and stuff.
Well, although you do have to, you can't use Amazing Spider-Man for the new core box Spider-Man, technically, right?
Yeah. So and that's the one cool thing because I played when I played Thousand Suns last edition, which I didn't play a ton of, when I needed like chaos spawn, I used D&D miniatures for my chaos spawn. Like
okay.
and that's like what they gave me to use, like the people playing. They're like, no, just use these. Like you don't need to go buy that $60 box for one model.
Hence the
Right.
other problem with GW.
Everything is
Their
expensive.
prices are crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so they just released it's a new Tyranid model. I mean it's huge. It's a big model, but it's $115.
Oh my goodness. What is it?
And
Is it just
how
one
many did you
model?
buy?
I don't want to talk about
That is a good strategy. I do not want to talk about it. Oh
it.
my god.
It's the Norn Emissary. To be fair, it is to be fair, I am not paying. I'm only paying like $80 for the two models and the Codex, which is the Book of Rules, because I have saved my points successfully
Oh, okay.
and I'm using them. Yeah, but it's like 5 times the size. It's like let's see, what? It's like 3 times the size of like a Terminator,
Can you
which is
hear yourself talking? You had to pay money for the rules.
you don't have to like. Yeah, I mean it's a book of so I know you don't know a bunch about 40. So the book is like a lot of lore. So it's like
I
a story of what's going on and then
uh,
like rules and stuff like that, which to be fair is something that bothers me immensely about it. However, um the rules are usually easily well they have an app that the rules are going to be updated into so you don't need the book. And they also the rules are usually easily found online in a PDF format.
okay. I mean, I was being facetious. I understand that that's like there's some real value there in the lore, and I actually do like the lore from 40K quite a bit. I think it's
It's
a
something that
pretty
I actively try not to get into because I think I'll enjoy it entirely too much.
yeah. There's a
Well,
lot of good stuff in there,
the only thing you need to know from the lore is that baby space Jesus will save us all.
and you just have to sacrifice 1,000 psychic people every single day to keep them alive.
No, baby space Jesus is Sanguinius from the Blood Angels.
Oh, okay. I
Right.
thought you meant the Emperor.
No, he is not. No, he is the opposite.
He is, yeah. Well, okay.
Enough about 40K.
Enough about 40K on this Marvel Crisis Protocol
Yeah, that was
podcast.
way too much 40K, guys.
But I think that is there anything else that we have to talk about before we go into the person that we are doing today?
I don't think
I'll
so.
Okay. All right. So then the character that we are covering today is the Black Widow. The is important. Her otherwise known as Natasha Romanoff. Her defensive stats are 4, 3, 4, 4 physical, 3 energy, and 4 mystic. And Brandon, I see this model that you just dropped in our chat, and it is amazing.
Right?
It is worth pointing out that that is beautiful. That is a very cool Tyranid model. Okay, back to the model that I'm talking about, which is Natasha Romanoff. 4 physical, 3 energy, 4 mystic. She has 6 stamina on her front side and 5 on her back side. She has a threat value of 4, which is the worst thing on this card. She is size 2, and she is movement speed long. Brandon, do you want to go over her attack suite?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So she has an energy attack, is shock battens. Range 2, 5 dice, 0 power. After the attack is resolved, this character gains power equal to damage dealt. Has a wild shock. Before damage is dealt, the target character gains the shock special condition. And then another second attack is an energy. It's Widow Stingers. It's range 4. 4 dice, 0 power. After the attack is resolved, it gains 1 power. It has a wild stun, so before damage is dead, the target character gains the stun special condition, which is really cool because it's before damage is dealt. And then her spending attack is a physical deadly origins. It's range 2, 7 dice, 4 power. After the attack is resolved, the character may advance medium for a wild and a hit. As finisher, after the attack is resolved, the character may make a shock patterns attack. This character may reroll any number of his dice during that attack, including skull results.
Okay.
All right, just to be clear, those are shock batons.
I was gonna make fun of him when we went through the character, but yes, you say batons like someone who mispronounces bagels.
As
Why
bagels?
Why would you
Yeah.
mispronounce bagels like that? Also, my dogs are going crazy right now, so.
Okay. Well, you go take care of that. Brad, why don't you go over the first 2 of her superpowers?
Okay, first one's reactive calculated risk. It costs 2. While this character is defending against a physical or mystic attack during the modified dice step of the attack, it may use the superpower. This character may reroll any number of its defense dice, including skull results. Innate, all that matters is the mission. When this character would drop an objective token, its controlling player chooses where to place the token instead of the opponent.
Okay, and Steven, why don't you finish out the card?
We have an innate power, martial artist. When this character is defending against a physical or energy attack, targeting it from within 2, this character adds blanks in its defense roll to its total successes. And also the innate superpower stealth. Characters must be within 3 of this character to target it with attacks.
Okay, so that is the Black Widow.
She loses a health on her backside.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know if we mentioned that or not.
I did mention that. Yeah, she does lose a health. She has 11 total stamina for a 4 threat model, but she has enough defensive tech on her to be like, I mean, she will stick around. I think that she's got a weird amount of defensive tech.
And she has
she
has defensive tech for all 3 attack types.
Yeah,
which is rare.
Yeah, and she has stealth, And she has another thing that makes it so probably the best thing on her card,
Yes.
aside from martial artist. There are actually some really good things on this card. But all that matters is the mission is awesome. That's really strong. Like if she's holding something important, oh, excuse me. If she's holding something important, she drops it wherever you want to drop it instead of where your opponent wants to drop it. So they can never you'll never place it in a place where the active character can pick it up.
So good.
Like they will not get it on the activation when you get taken out, which can be huge. What is everyone's initial thoughts here? How about you, Steven? What are your initial thoughts on?
Well, like the precast, okay. If you look at her attack suite, okay, it's almost a copy of Blade, just in different forms. Calculated risk is a Blade superpower again.
Mm-hmm.
All that matters is the mission, is the shield grunts, and martial artists and stealth are Black Widow from the original core box. So they all got together and had a baby. So, no, but
Yeah.
her shock batons are range 2, strength 5. She has the wild shock. Blade has the wild pierce. It also gives bleed on top of that. Her widow stingers are his little glaives that he throws. It's strength 4, range 4. The difference is, this one's an energy attack, that one's a physical. Her shock batons compared to his katanas is energy versus mystic. On a wild, he triggers a bleed, she triggers a stun. And Deadly Origins, Night of the Damn Fear. This is range 2, his Night of the Damn Fear is range 3. They do get to move medium after the attack is made. Her finisher is just a little bit different, but if the character is bleeding for Blade, you get to reroll any number of your dice.
Yeah, I definitely
same thing.
I see a lot of similarities. I think there are some relevant differences though. I think that Wild Stun is a lot better than Wild Bleed. And especially that it happens before the damage is dealt.
Right, but I mean
that being said, I see the point that you were making and I agree with it. Like I think calculated risk worded exactly the same as the
yes.
It's the exact same wording. Yeah.
Exact same power. Yeah.
Yep. So there is definitely a lot of Blade on this card.
Yep, sure is.
Blade wishes.
Blade wishes.
Oh God, I wish he was a martial artist. I wish he had stealth.
Uh-huh.
He's a vampire. He should have stealth, right?
No.
Yeah.
He's a daywalker.
He's the daywalker.
No stealth.
I also think this seems to be happening quite a bit, where they have the builder and the gainer on the character, and the difference is that the builder does a little bit more damage, and the gainer is a longer range but does less damage. But the difference, I think that Wild Stun that happens before damage is dealt, I guess it is on a wild trigger, which is hard to get on 4 dice and is easier to get on 5 dice. But I think that's really strong. I would almost do the gainer more often than the builder, even when in range.
Well, the thing about it's all the, for lack of a better term, the calculated risk, right? Because one's up close and personal, and the other one is far away. All depends on where your play style is going to fall for a certain game and a certain mission.
Yeah, it's all context dependent.
Because you don't want widow stingers on superpowered scoundrels, right?
Yeah, because you get cover.
Right.
Okay, I see. Okay. Well, what are your thoughts about her, Brandon? Do you have anything that you want to point out on this card?
I thought she was a really good 3-point model when I read it.
Yeah.
like, I mean, I get I understand the references to like Blade, but the leadership is really what sets it apart. I think it's a fine model. It's just the fourth threat's gonna be really tough for this to like find a way in.
Especially when there are two other versions of Black Widow that are both cheaper.
Well,
And
like if you want to play Black Widow, you play the 2-point Black Widow because she's still the best of the three.
yeah, absolutely.
Uh, but I agree with that. You use the Widow Stingers more than anything, mainly because you don't ever want to be within range two. I don't think this character is more of a. So this is a character that you're gonna play as like an objective piece, and at 4 threat, I don't think it's as good as um, Spider Woman or Black Cat. So I think she's falls really in comparison to the like purely objective pieces that you'd want to be playing.
Mhm.
Right.
She's
But
not going to be hitting very hard.
well, I think she would, honestly. She, for me, she falls into a unique category where she's an objective runner, but she can also be a chaser for those people who have objectives.
Yeah, and Deadly Origins is a very good spender. I think it should be stated.
She's also honestly, what she's really good. Someone she's really good against is like Web Warriors because she can chase them down.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
So I know I've played games against Web Warriors where it becomes a cat and mouse game, and this is someone who could very easily chase down Miles Morales, or she can stay. Having range 4 attacks means she can kind of most likely she can stay within range 3 of like Black Cat and stuff to and make those attacks. So I mean
Yeah.
that's a bit
So,
the difference is the 4th threat. It's really tough.
well, that's because she's good as a chaser for those smaller models. That's what I'm saying. So,
Okay. Okay. Brad, what is your take here on what if anything jumps out at you? What do you see?
So I think if you're gonna take her, it's probably gonna be for all that matters is the mission in like a really scenario focused team. That ability I think is going to be a lot better than you would think at first blush.
Yeah. Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. I think
Yeah.
that that's the best thing on the card.
So I'm thinking that's what's going to convince people to take the 4-point widow over other widows.
And you
So
can play the other widows in your list. You just can't play them on the tables.
Yeah, especially in if she's shield affiliated, and then you have her and the shield grunts that do that. That's a lot of scenario control put into your hands instead of the opponent's.
right. That's true. I bet she is Shield affiliated.
Yeah, I bet she is too.
Yeah.
It's,
I gotta say, so
she almost has to be right to be able to play Shield in the core box.
Or Spider-Man, or both.
I think it would make a lot more sense if it was her.
what about Captain Marvel?
I mean, lots of them could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But 3 of them have to be, right?
Yeah.
I okay. I think that what Steven was saying, that she can chase people down, is definitely true. I think that Deadly Origins, her spender, especially if she has a way to adjust her dice to really get that finisher going, can do a lot of work. I think that's a work dealing attack. It may be one of the better spenders, actually, because I think we're underestimating how much damage that can shell out. I don't know. Is that plus all that matters is the mission good enough to justify the 4th threat? I'm talking myself into thinking it is. I think it might put her up. I don't know if it puts her above the 2-threat. I think it definitely puts her above the 3-threat Black Widow.
She'll stay around longer than the 2-threat Widow, though.
Yeah, she's got all the defensive tech.
So she'll be on the board longer. Even if it's a turn longer, it can adjust the game quite a bit.
Yeah. I'm. The more I'm looking at her, the more I like her. And she has a pretty good defensive pool too. Are there any tactics cards that are specifically for?
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Well,
Yeah, there are.
they're just Natasha though, right? All of them.
Okay, I just looked up for Black Widow. Are they? I should have looked up Natasha
Yeah, I think
Romanoff.
they're just Natasha cards.
Okay. Did professionals exist before this one?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it did. But do you have an order you want to go in, or
Alphabetical.
do you want alphabetical? Okay, so we'll start with professionals. This is not one that came in the. This is one that came with the Hawkeye and Black Widow kit, but it definitely applies to the Black Widow. It is unaffiliated and active, and Natasha Romanoff and Clinton Barton may spend 2 power each to play this card. If Clinton Barton damages a character with an attack this round, and Natasha Romanoff is within range 2 of the damaged character, you may move 1 asset or civilian token from the damaged character to Natasha Romanoff. She is now holding that token. This card does not allow a character to hold more tokens than the crisis specifies, and that's great for this, for the Black Widow. It makes it easier for her to steal.
I'm pretty sure on the last podcast, which I don't know if you were on, Fred. Brandon was. On the last podcast we did about Black Widow, the original Black Widow, we talked about how this card was better for the 3-point Black Widow. I think it's even better for this Black Widow.
I agree. I think that's a great card for her.
The downside is you have to play this and then hope Clint does damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the rough part about this one.
So if you're playing against me, you're fine.
Can I point out something about this card?
Yes.
Go ahead.
You can have them spend 2. Let's say you're playing with Captain America, right? And you activate Captain America first. You can spend 2 on these characters during Captain America's turn.
Yes.
And then you can shuffle around the board how you need to get this card off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're not stuck saying, okay, Clint's going. I pay 2 with him and 2 with Natasha.
Yeah, you can play it whenever.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's better to get into position and then play it, though.
Right.
A lot can happen.
I agree. This round, yeah, it does. You can do it. Yeah, because if you're already in place when you play it, you can. I'm not. It just makes it so that it's more likely to go off. You don't get knocked out of position or something.
This is also important when Clint does if he has a chance to do his fast draw on somebody.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I think this card is great. I think this card is great specifically for this Black Widow. Yeah, I think that you're probably going to bring it if you have both Clinton Barton, Hawkeye, and the Black Widow.
I don't think you're going to take it.
Because you won't normally have both of them together.
Even if you have both.
Really? You don't think it's worth having?
Tactics cards are too good.
I think this is a good effect.
The hardest thing, this is best fitted if they're both Shield affiliated, which means they'll both probably be in your list. The problem is Shield has so many good cards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah,
it
you're
just
right.
gets pushed. It just gets pushed out.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can play it if you want to play it, but I think the same thing we talked about before is you're most likely playing it in Shield. And the problem is they gave Shield 12 affiliated cards that are all just bonkers. So
Okay, only half of those are bonkers.
Now, if you were playing
Yeah.
in Battle Realms, you could use this card.
That's true.
Yeah, if you play their shitty new format, you can
No,
play
no,
this.
no, not the new format. The
The
one
one
where you
you,
draft.
Mm.
the one
I
you
like
like.
that. Oh, I do like that format.
All right. Well, so that is the professionals tactics card. The the new one is called Vertical Assistance. It is an unaffiliated active tactics card, and during Natasha Romanoff's activation, she may spend 2 power to play this card. Choose an allied character within range 3 of Natasha Romanoff. The chosen character gains the Wall Crawler superpower until the end of the round. It immediately advances short.
So they took out all the cards that let characters move outside of activation for the most part. Avengers Assemble is basically the only one left.
Oh, okay. Was it climbing gear?
Gear and
Yeah.
all that stuff. They're all gone. And then they print this card.
Well, this one has more
Requirements.
stipulations.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it has to be within range 3 of Natasha Romanoff. And can it be Natasha Romanoff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she could do it to
Yes.
herself.
Yeah, she definitely can.
Okay, so
my point being, they thought these effects were too good, so this is probably a good card.
It definitely is. I mean, imagine if you could just do a short move to Hulk, move him short closer to whomever you want to kill. I think, or to Malekith. Do this. Oh, holy moly!
Or to get away from somebody.
Or to get away from. I mean, you're right. This is enormously powerful. You could also, if you set things up correctly, you could do this round 1, and use it as a way to really fire someone off early. I actually think this is amazing. Now, the more that I'm thinking about it,
you probably don't want to do it round 1, though.
You're probably right. I agree. You're probably correct, but it is still a very good.
It.
Yeah, there are ways to. This is a very good effect. I'm kind of impressed.
So everyone bring Craven so that you can turn Wallcrawler off after they give it to a character.
Craven's the new meta. I tell you, man. The Spider-Man one, and now this. Jeez.
I knew you would like that, Steven.
Thank you. He has a soft spot in my heart.
Mine too. I love Craven.
Brandon also loves Craven.
I indeed do not love Craven.
Oh, well, not all of us can be correct. So.
Well, that is all of the information we have on the Black Widow, and now we have to give her a letter grade. I guess I will go first. I started off this discussion even thinking that I was pretty unimpressed with a lot of the stuff, but mostly because there's already a really great 2-point Natasha Romanoff, which would make it really hard to put this model on the table. But the more we talked about it, the more that I liked her. The more I think that she has perhaps a place in the meta. I think that I'm gonna give her a B, just a solid B, a straight B. And I was coming in here ready to give her a C plus when we first started talking about her. But I'm giving her a B. That's what I'm giving her. What are you gonna give her, Steven?
I don't know. Probably.
Do you want me to go to someone else?
Yeah. Let me look at this.
Okay.
A little bit more.
I think that this is one that I think that what's good about her kind of comes out during discussion. It might be a model that does more work on the table than it looks like. How about you, Brandon? Do you have a take on the Black Widow?
Unlike you, I'm not afraid to give her a C plus.
Okay. Okay.
I just think she's gonna have a hard time finding a spot. But again,
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with her. I feel like it's just a broken record at this point. All these core box models are they're very much like fine and playable. The problem is they are oversaturating the market with 4 threats, and it's going to be really hard to take many of them.
Yeah. You think that
Unless you're playing those formats where stuff is rotating and you can only play certain things, I think it's going to be really tough to play a lot of these 4 threats. They're
Yeah.
just
You
doing
think that
the same thing. Go ahead.
outside of like this new core box, outside of core box games, it'll be real tough to really bring her into
Yeah.
games where you could just bring the 2-pointer and have the not quite the same effect, but enough a similar effect to at 2-point cost reduction.
Yeah, like if you have 6 points left and you don't have if you have like a 4 and a 2 you can bring, like you have both Black Widows, like you're taking the 2 point and another 4 point model. The hierarchy in 4 threat models is becoming really deep. Like there's a ton of them. They're doing the same thing they did with 3 points when the game first came out. Like there was a ton of 3s that came out, and now there are a ton of 4s. Like it's just going to be really hard to play. There's a ton of really good 4 threat characters that are going to be really hard to play. And especially like you're not only competing against 4 threat models, you're also competing against same name models.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a C plus from Brandon. Brad, do you have a grade that you would like to give to the Black Widow?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with B. If you like this model and you want to play her and in affiliation, she's gonna be good for that. Probably not splashed a lot. Um, it's gonna come down to what you want out of your model. She brings what you want, play her.
Okay. And how about you, Steven?
I think I'm landing on a B minus.
Okay.
So, to tell you the truth,
Okay.
even though I like Blade, I mean, I agree with Brandon. It's harder and harder for 4 threats to find their way. I think AMG spoiled us with a bunch of 3 threats, and so it was hard to shift our thoughts to, well, maybe 4 threats are what's supposed to be the norm. I don't know. AMG probably needs to do something to correct this issue that's going on. So, what that is, I don't know.
I don't know how. I don't know how you correct it. Are you talking about like just the creep of there's going to be certain models that get played so much more than others just because they are so much more effective at the same point level?
What 2-4s are everybody taking right now?
I mean,
You say what 4 threats?
What 4 threats is everybody taking?
Logan.
Venom?
No.
Bill and Dr. Voodoo.
Oh yeah, you're
exactly.
Oh,
okay.
Not me personally, but in general. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. I was getting ready to say everyone that's not Brad.
I actually do have Voodoo in my list too, so
I think
It's really hard not to play Dr. Voodoo.
If I had to come up with a solution, I would keep the leaderships like they are for the characters, but like Storm, I actually like Storm's leadership, but I think it should have been distinctive. Like the first part of the leadership, you get that no matter what. And then the second part of the leadership, only people who are affiliated with X-Men get that leadership for the cover. You see what I'm saying? So I think that could be a nice little solution if they had cards that said, if you are a Cabal member under a Cabal affiliation, you get this little bonus. So that would, kind of slot characters into their affiliations a little bit better. You know what I mean? Instead of taking these outside characters all the time.
Yeah, make it harder, make it less
less
amenable.
Yeah,
less inviting to splash certain things.
Correct.
Yeah. I also think Beta Ray Bill is just a lot better than he should be.
Right, but I mean, whatever you would do, like if Brad put him in his Storm X-Men, he wouldn't get cover. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
That second ability, if you split them up a little bit like that. So, and it could also help fix some
Oh,
characters.
that's
Like,
the one you want to make X-Men only? Okay.
yeah, exactly. But no, I understand what you're
They
saying,
should
Brad. But
both
Yeah.
be X-Men only.
The other one is abused way more. So
okay,
I think
but
he was just using that as
yeah, yeah, an
as
example.
an example. I don't
Yeah,
think he was talking specifics.
right, exactly. So, I mean, it'd be nice to see if they come up with a solution. I don't know what that is, but something along those lines would be nice.
It's something I don't know. AMG is pretty good at making these games, and I mean there are a lot of characters that are not very good in the game right now, but are also a lot of characters that still see play. Even I don't know. What I'm saying is AMG is really good at this, and
Out of the
I
154 characters in the game, how many do you think are never played at a tournament?
out of 154 that are never played in a tournament,
Mm-hmm.
uh, probably like 40 some,
I'd go with
Okay.
like 80 or more.
80.
half? I think a third is more reasonable, like 50-ish.
But
I mean, there's a lot of affiliations not even played.
correct, yeah.
Well,
So
that's not true overall. Like even the bad ones are getting played.
but we still see those affiliations with good characters from outside their affiliation.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, who puts original Daredevil on the table anymore, right?
Oh,
Who
no
put
one.
who
Well,
puts
yeah,
Viper?
he doesn't.
Who puts Viper on the
Viper
table?
gets played in Hydra
Well,
a little bit.
A little bit.
Sin doesn't. Sin doesn't. Viper's the good model in that box.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Which is really
But-
funny because everyone thought it was the other way around for a long time.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, maybe something needs to be done to. I know tactics cards can rejuvenate somebody, but it's only a tactic card, and then you have the problem of, well, we'll just take this character for this tactic card and put them in this other affiliation that makes them better, right? So, like I said, I don't know what the solution is. It's just I wish they would give an incentive to take 4s that are in your affiliation, or 5s that are in your affiliation, or 3s that are in your affiliation more often than what they do. So
I'm a little worried that the correction is that it has to be more models, like in order to count for an affiliation bonus, you have to bring more than what it currently is, which is currently
Well-
set at greater than 50%. If they set it to like all but one, that would be pretty restrictive. I just I don't know what the correction. What you're saying is a solution. Like give an incentive
Mhm.
in the affiliation bonuses, but I don't know how to change. Like, how do you change blades? Do you change blades to make it so that only the Midnight Suns characters can be bumped?
Actually, that's a very good example because there is an incentive, okay? And that incentive is
Siege of Darkness. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. That one definitely has a good incentive.
So I am
Picked the
once
wrong
again
example, Fred.
Wrong example.
asking for a Siege of Darkness card for X-Men.
As soon as I get a first class for Midnight Suns, you're on.
Yeah, I think that what we're landing on is that there.
I don't think that's a fair trade, by the way.
No, I don't either. But what I think is we're landing on as a group is that there is something that I don't know if needs is the correct term. There is something that could be done that makes the game more amenable to these niche characters, to the ones that are affiliated but that no one ever brings. But we don't know what the solution is.
Well, on the mini extravaganza, they touted that they're having a plethora of other ways to play, right? So maybe there'll be a gem in there that I'm not aware of. So
Okay. I will certainly keep my eyes open on mini extravaganza.
before we go on, we have to do. Well, there is a couple of things we have to mention that we didn't, and those are tournaments.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so does someone have the upcoming tournaments? Do you know what the dates are for the upcoming tournaments, Stephen?
Okay, well, I know Brad knows the one you guys are doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brad, when is our September tournament?
The 16th.
That will be September 16th. Really? Okay.
Okay. Also on September 16th, there is a MCP Standard Rumble run by Mike Corkhill, otherwise known as Cork. You guys met him. He came down to one of your tournaments.
Nice guy.
He is running this in at Game Table Adventures in Newark, Ohio. That's about 40 miles east of Columbus, going on 70. So if anybody's interested in that, Cork always runs a good tournament. I've been to one of his down in Dayton. I don't know if he's moved or not, but we'll find out, I guess. But so I would give that a shout out. And then Brad, we've got the big one coming up, right?
Yeah.
After that,
Well, I forget the date for that. Is it the 23rd?
23rd and 24th.
23rd, 24th, an LVO qualifier. Bryce is putting it, like, keeps stressing that this is not a points qualifier. This is the winner gets an invitation to the LVO tournament. So, Les, congratulations on your invitation. I hope I am there so that you can beat me to a pulp to get it.
Hey, you've won against Les before.
Yeah, he let me do that once.
Well, there's going to be other good players there too, like Nick Angelo and Nick Parrott.
Yeah,
so,
Les isn't a shoe-in to win, but he does have a pretty good record.
Savage is there also too. So
yeah.
And it's going to be a winner-take-all LVO qualifier, so everyone's going to come correct. Everyone's going to bring their best stuff.
Yeah, sometimes Savage shows up with something he's just trying out. He probably won't.
But he's
for
not.
This one.
He won't. No, he won't.
Yeah. All right. Well, since we've done that, Brad, do you have any comic book recommendations for The Black Widow?
I do. Once again, had to go back and listen to that part of the old podcast to make sure I didn't repeat myself. And luckily, I did remember what they were. I was like, I think it was this. And then I went back and listened to it. That's exactly what I said. So, 2 new ones for Black Widow. One of them I picked very much on purpose for this card. I'm going to start with that one. Black Widow, Deadly Origin. I'm going to bring the card back up on the... Everyone see? Deadly Origin. Oh, I clicked the wrong one, didn't I? Deadly Origins. Bam, right there. Yeah. Got it. Yeah. Fred, how long are you going to let me just go on about this Deadly Origins thing?
I mean, I'm just going to let you keep talking. And for those of you who are listening, there is a YouTube version of our podcast where you can see Brad's screen.
You can. It's not very exciting.
It's not. It's not exciting.
Okay, so Black Widow, Deadly Origin, written by Paul Cornell, with art by Tom Rainey and John Paul Leon. Paul Cornell has written some of my favorite comics. He's really good. He's got a real handle on the characters he's writing. And he always tells a very interesting story. And in this, he tells the origin of the Black Widow, from her training in the Red Room all the way to joining the Avengers. And It's all very exciting. It feels like an action movie. And there's two artists because one draws like the present day story and the other one draws like the flashback stuff. And so you could always tell at a glance which, if you're in the present or the past, which is pretty cool. It's like how movies do black and white or sepia for the past, but way better, because that's kind of boring. Well, it is. You get completely different artists, and that's cool because you get to see more cool art. I wish I could art.
I wish I could.
Next.
That sounds like a personal problem, bro.
It is. The other one is Black Widow, Shield's Most Wanted. This is by Mark Waid and Chris Samney. So Natasha has done some bad stuff in her past. See Black Widow, Deadly Origin. And in this story, that some of that stuff gets out to the general public, and S.H.I.E.L.D. has no choice but to hunt her down to arrest her. And she's running away. And she has to run from her friend and fellow Avenger, Iron Man. He's chasing her down. That's it.
Iron Man is chasing down Black Widow?
Yes.
For her sins?
For her past sins. And the only reason they're doing it is because those sins were made public. They knew before. But there's like public outcry.
Iron Man like... Why is Iron Man like the lawful neutral character? Is that just who he is?
Until the MCU, Iron Man sucked.
That's
I was gonna say, like, okay.
But he did make weapons for the government before he was a superhero, Fred. I think that's pretty on par.
Yeah. Okay. Northrop Stark instead of Grumman.
Sure. It's just called Stark Enterprises. He
Yeah.
did almost die from those weapons and then decide that was a bad idea and stopped making weapons for the government and made weapons for himself. Wait,
man,
that's not better.
No, it's not. Why is he a good guy?
He's not.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
Is that simile of a good guy?
Right, yeah. Is that it for the comic book recommendations?
Yeah, two good comics. Get out there and read them. They're on Marvel Unlimited.
Okay.
Which,
Brandon.
Hey, speaking of Marvel Unlimited, if you sign up right now, it should be still going right now, and put in the code GALA, GALA, 2023, you can get a year of Marvel Unlimited for $52. That's $1 a week. Comics are $3 or more a piece, and you get like tens of thousands of comics for $1 a week.
So that promo code is GALA 2023.
Not sponsored, but you should. That's like the best deal they've ever given on Marvel Unlimited. So take advantage.
There you go, folks. Go out there and get Marvel Unlimited.
And if
Brandon.
anyone from Marvel's listening and you want to sponsor us for this segment, please get in touch.
I've said it before. No one's listening.
Shut up, Fred. There could be Marvel employees who play MCP and found our podcast. It's possible.
You want another $2?
Oh, you're not on mute there, Steven. We can hear that.
Oh, that's Chris, my boss, talking to me.
Oh, sorry. Brandon, do you have any lists where you think that the Black Widow will really excel?
I actually was toying around with her in a Hellfire Club control list. Um, with the 2-point Black Widow, Black Cat, Voodoo, very similar to lists that me and Brad made together. So it's got like Voodoo, Enchantress, 2-point Black Widow, Black Cat, Mystique, Emma Frost, 4-point Black Widow as well, uh, and kind of gives you a bunch of options in that scenario. Also, I threw your boy Hawkeye in the list just to play professionals, just for you, because you know what list always needs tactics cards? Any list that Emma Frost plays.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
So
Okay, that's an interesting. I think that's actually a really good place for her.
yeah, just like a hyper control list. The problem is there are a lot of 4s.
Yeah, and you can bring all of them in her Hellfire
Yeah,
Club.
you're definitely not restricted. Well, the problem is like a lot of the really good control pieces like Voodoo, Enchantress, and Spider Woman are all 4 threat.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, that's a great place to put her, though. So I guess that leaves my recommendation, and I don't. I honestly, I kept trying to think of a Scarlett Johansson movie that's not Marvel affiliated that I really liked, and I was having trouble thinking of any, which is
Can
kind
I
of
help?
mean.
Can I help you out?
Oh well, I've got something, but yeah, if you want to help me, go ahead.
Were you going to say Ghost World?
No, I've never
Oh,
seen Ghost World.
that's an interesting choice.
Okay, you know what? I've never seen Ghost World. I'm
You
gonna cede
haven't.
my time to Steven.
Okay. Oh
What is
gosh,
Ghost World about?
you need to. Oh, you're making me look this up now.
Oh, okay.
I saw
Never
it.
mind. Never mind.
I saw it a long time ago.
What about Lost in Translation?
That is a great movie. You're correct. I did not think of that movie, but Scarlett Johansson is in that.
Well,
And
Scarlet. Yeah, go ahead.
What
I'm
about
sorry.
Home Alone 3, Fred?
wait, is Scarlett Johansson in Home Alone 3?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the first
she's
time.
like a literal child in that movie, but yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, so this would be the first time that anyone had ever recommended Home Alone 3.
I mean, yeah.
All right, Fred,
Uh,
you need to watch Ghost World because it has not only Scarlett Johansson, it has Thora Birch and Stephen Buscemi
Okay.
and Brad Renfro. So,
Okay. Well, what's it about? What am I watching if I watch it?
Scarlett Johansson and Thora Birch are just graduating high school, and they're in this kind of that weird place between high school and college, and they're trying to figure out their ways in the world as teenage ladies. One's kind of a slacker, and one's kind of a busybody. So,
Okay.
and one of them kind of falls for an older guy, which is played by Steve Buscemi, who's into finding lost art and classical things. So it's kind of a touch and go thing. Thora Birch's character and Steve Buscemi and Scarlett Johansson kind of makes fun of the whole thing, but it's a coming of age girls kind of movie. You know what I mean?
It's
Okay.
also based on a graphic novel.
Mm-hmm.
I do like a good coming of age story.
So
So
it-
everyone go out there and watch Ghost World.
It is another Scarlett Johansson comic book movie. Just want to.
Oh boy, you're right.
But
It
it's
is.
not Marvel related.
It is not Marvel.
So
All right. Well, everyone, go out there and play some good games and have fun. And that'll do for our podcast today.
Nailed it, Fred.